What's up, everybody? Doomwake here. We are back with some more modern action. Past couple weeks, I haven't been playing as much modern, mostly because of Eternal Weekend happened. First Legacy, then Vintage the week after, so I've kind of been focusing mostly on those, straying a little bit away from modern. But we're back with some more modern, and I figured, since I hadn't played the format in a couple of weeks, figured what better place to start than the winning list from the most recent challenge, and that is this slightly different take on Jund. I actually kind of like the way that this deck looks. Um, Obviously, with traditional Jund, you're playing cards like Liliana the Veil, Bloodbraid Elf, but today we are foregoing those in place of we're going to play Lurrus instead, basically, because obviously you can't play Elf and Liliana with Lurrus. So we're going to try a slightly, I would say, a little bit lower to the ground version of Jund. It's more aggressive, has one drop, which Jund doesn't usually have in Hexdrinker, and then we have a little bit more aggression with Scourge. Um, I think this list looks really interesting to me. I actually played a little bit with this deck last night on stream, and I was really impressed with the card Hexdrinker. It single-handedly allowed us to beat a horde of zombie tokens against four-color Uro, and just it's really nice because it's good at almost any spot of the curve. Like if you're missing, let's say on turn 3 you have, a one drop and you want something to do with the rest of your mana, well you can play, a Thoughtseize, play this, and still like you even if you have spare mana, there's always something to do with your spare mana, which I really like. Basically, you're just always being mana efficient when you have Hexdrinker, which is really nice. And mana efficiency is one of the most important things in Modern, so I really like that quite a bit. I'm not sure if I'm sold on these Scourges yet. I understand that they get a little bit better when you add another one drop to your deck, which is like I think why the person who played this deck was playing both of these. So I guess it makes sense to play them in tandem. But we'll kind of hopefully get a feel for how good this card is. I'm not sold on it yet, but we'll go ahead and try it. And then, I mean, everything else is pretty standard for Jund these days. Push, Thoughtseize, Bolt, Goyf, couple Wrens, couple Croxes. We have Seal of Fire instead of other removal spells that you may see in that spot because of Lurrus. Obviously, we have Baubles. 20 lands, which I think is a little bit low. But you do have 2 Wrenn and 6, so it's almost like you have 22 lands, because most of the time Wrenn can kind of count as a mana source because you have enough fetch lands. And then this one Dismember. I think the person chose to register Dismember instead of, we'll say, like another Abrupt Decay or a Terminate or something like that because of Scourge. So being able to manage your life total and still being able to kill a creature makes it can make your Scourge a little bit better. And then we have an Unearth, which I like because I never leave home without an Unearth in my Lurrus decks. So I really like that. Mana base, pretty straightforward. 3 Peatlands, which might be a lot for a 20 land deck. I get that they're really good with Wrenn, but there's only 2 Wrens, so this might be too many. But again, managing your life total with Scourge can be pretty important. And then in the sideboard, excuse me, I'm not really sure what to make of some of these numbers. Traditionally with Jund, you see cards like Boil. I mean, there's some usual suspects here: Bale of Summer, Spellbomb, especially with Lurrus. EE's reasonable, K Command, but some of these are a little bit not what I'm used to seeing in Jund, like K Return and Surgical. I think it might just be a spot where these cards are good in the particular format. Again, I haven't played Modern in a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure how the format has developed since the last time that I played. But obviously the user probably had reasons for most of these cards, so we'll go ahead and see how that goes today. But yeah, you have Cleansing Wildfires for your Tron decks. You have a Braid K Command for artifacts like Equipment. You have K Return for Humans and Death and Taxes. We got some Graveyard Hate here. We have Spellbomb, or excuse me, we have Veil of Summer for the control decks. Another thing for this is nice because it doubles as Tron Hate, and I also think you want to bring this in against the Field of the Dead decks, just because it completely shuts that card off. And then we have some sort of catch-alls with Trophy and EE. So yeah, there's the deck list. I'm pretty interested to see how this goes, and I will see you back here in just a little bit for round number 1. Alright, we're back here for round number 1. We lost the die roll, so we'll go ahead and show our opponent our Lurrus. They do not reveal a companion. And what do we have? We have a discard spell and some creatures and a couple lands. It's a little bit threat heavy for what I would usually like in a Jund hand, but I don't think I can realistically mulligan, discard spell into threat, so we'll go ahead and keep this. What we really don't want to see here is a turn 1 creature, because we obviously don't have a removal spell. Land go is what we want to see, ideally. Because if they play something like, I was going to say a Noble Hierarch or a Champion of the Parish, then you might fall a little bit behind. Our threats might not be able to match there. Ooh, okay, that's not bad. Now we have a decision to make. So they mulligan to 6, and if I Fatal Push this and they play Thalia, I guess I don't care too much about Thalia because I just have a bunch of creatures. This is close. Just trying to think of sequencing. So if I play Inquisition on turn 1, the problem with playing Inquisition on turn 1 is their hand just might be all 2-drop, so I can't really stop them off curve. So let's say, like, example, I play Inquisition and their hand is Thalia Meddling Mage. I take Thalia, they play Meddling Mage, likely named Fatal Push, and then they hit me for 2, and then I can't cast my Fatal Push. So I think I'm actually supposed to just Fatal Push here. If they play Thalia, it's kind of awkward, but I can just kill this and ignore the Inquisition and just kind of match them creature for creature. Our hand is, well, I guess it's not really insulated against Reflector Mage because we can't really cast these. Because I'm going to play Goyf on 2, but okay, that's fine. I can live with that. Yeah, we're definitely going to go ahead and push this. I'm just going to get a basic swamp. We have all of our colors anyways. We don't really need to get a duel here. I'm going to play the Stomping Ground here. Yeah, we're going to cast Goyf. I guess I could have Hexdrinker plus Inquisition there, which is a little bit better if they have Mantis Rider. I'm trying to think if they have Reflector Mage, though, then we can't double spell next turn. Yeah, that's annoying. But now they're in a weird spot. They know about this Scourge. So the question is, do they chump block here to stay at 20? I think they might. They probably will, actually. Pretty sure they're supposed to block here, because if they don't block, I get to play 2 threats, and then they just fall too far behind, I think. So we'll attack first, see what they want to do. This was actually a good draw, because they know that we have 2 Scourges. Okay, they didn't block anyways. Now, I'm trying to think if there's a reason to play this Thoughtseize. I'm fairly certain if they had a Mantis Rider, they would have deployed it last turn. But they could definitely have like a Thalia's Lieutenant or something like that. And because we have enough stuff to do with our mana, I'm not sure that this Hexdrinker is going to be that relevant anyways. So I think I'm actually just going to Thoughtseize them here. So they have a Lord and a Mantis Rider. To figure out which one we want to take here. So we're going to go to 15 and then 14 after we play this. Play a 3/3. We're going to be at 14, and this can attack me for 5 with the 2 Hierarchs. So say we go to 14, we take 5, we go to 9. We attack them back for 6, they go to 11, we play another Scourge. We're at 9, we take 5, we go to 4. They block a Scourge, 9, it's 12. If I take Kudro, this thing still hits me for 4, so it's not even that much of a difference. Like, it's a slightly... It's actually the same... No, it's not quite the same clock. Because I'm at 14, this would be a 4-power attacker. The problem with not taking Kudro is it shrinks my Goyf a little bit, so it makes it harder for me to attack with the Goyf. I think I'm going to take Kudro. Play a Scourge. It's a tough spot. Oh, I hadn't realized there wasn't a sorcery, so that actually grows the Goyf too. So 4, 7, they go to 10. Yeah, this isn't bad. If we draw, I think if we draw a removal spell, I think we're good no matter what we do. Bolt, push, anything like that. Let's see what we have. Looks like they're casting Mantis Rider. I will take my 5. Okay, that pumps the Goyf. Not that necessarily changes the math on things, but let's take a look and see what they are drawing. Drawing Silent Clearing. Actually, maybe I'm supposed to bobble myself because I don't have a Blood Crypt, which means I can't keep up both Fatal Push and Lightning Bolt. So maybe I'm supposed to bobble myself to see which land I want to leave untapped. Okay, let's play 2 Scourges. Guess I could just play this Hexdrinker too, right? Is there really a difference between 9 and 8? 3, 4, 5. 5, 6, 7. The nice thing about playing Hexdrinker is if I brick and I level this up 3 times, this plus the Goyf is lethal, so they have to block with 3 creatures. 9, 8, 4. Yeah, I think I am supposed to play this actually. Okay, it's not ideal. 3, 4, 5, 6. Lieutenant only puts us... Okay, that's fine. So now, assuming nothing happens, we go to 3. I guess this is a problem because now that we're at 3, they just block with these 3 creatures. Take the Hexdrinker, go to 5, and then we die. So we actually have to find something here. I have to decide whether I want to leave up Fatal Push or Lightning Bolt, because if I tap this to sack the peatland and I push, if I tap this to sack this, I don't have a red mana. Given that we have 3 pushes and 4 bolts in our deck, I guess I should lean towards push. Or, excuse me, bolt. Because we have to draw a removal spell, or else we die. That would not have done it anyways. Yeah, we're actually dead. Okay, good game. Maybe I messed up the turn. Yeah, maybe I was supposed to take the Mantis Rider instead of the Kudro. Would have given me, I think, 1 more draw step, because this would have been a slightly smaller clock than the Mantis Rider. So it might have given me 1 more attack step. Alright, we have explosives. I'm sure I want K command, Abrade, K return. These cards are all good. I do kind of like Trophy against them because they usually only have 1 or 2 basics. What don't we want? I don't like Croxa. I don't like Cling. I don't like Unearth. We have to cut 1 more card, or not bring in this trophy. I think I'm fine trimming a Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize is not the best in these matchups, especially... So a lot of their game plan is deploy their hand and hold up some canopy lands, some sack lands. So Thoughtseize can, especially if you don't have it on turn 1, it can get pretty awkward as the game goes on. Like, they do have, you know, a few high impact cards that Thoughtseize is good against, but for the most part, I think I'd rather just be drawing removal spells. Yeah, 5-land Thoughtseize Hexdrinker. I don't think this hand's actually going to cut it against humans. I think if this were game 1 and we were in the dark, I might keep this hand, but... Well, this hand is painful, but it does have some good things going on. We have 1-drop, attack, turn 2 Scourge, then we have a bunch of removal spells. So I'm going to keep this and ship the second Hexdrinker. Play Hexdrinker on 1. Looks like they have a Noble. Attack first. Obviously, they're not going to block. I think because I drew this Dismember, and I can double removal spell next turn. Even if they play Athalia, I can kill Athalia. I think I'm actually just going to get aggressive and play Scourge here. I think I want to treat this matchup when I'm on the play. I just want to be the aggressor. Like, I'm trying to think of the worst possible thing that could happen to us. Yeah, that we don't care too much about. They have that and Athalia. They have a Freebooter. Yeah, we don't really care about that. Now we can just kill both their things no matter what they take. Put a lot of pressure on them. Still have another removal spell up for their follow-up play the turn after. I would imagine they take Fatal Push to force me to cast the Dismember. Because they probably want me to cast Dismember. Although I don't know if they want me to cast Dismember. Either way, I'm going to be casting both of them, so it doesn't really matter what they take. Sure, they took Decay. I don't know if I like that, because they get at least, like... That one's not great here. Yeah, we're just going to kill both their things. Attack for 4. Now we have a 6/6. It's kind of not the best if they have Reflector Mage as their follow-up, but I'm not really sure that there's a lot we can do if they have Reflector Mage. Like, we killed their Noble Hierarch. The best we can hope for is we kill their Hierarch and they don't have land 3, but... Yeah, I don't really care too much about that. Alright, well, attack for 6. Can't attack for anything else. Play a 2/3 Goyf. I have a feeling they do have Reflector Mage in their hand, they just didn't draw land. I wonder if they had this... Oh wow, they're chump blocking. Interesting. Huh. Now I might just play red in 6. I could also just decay this now. Decaying this isn't bad, especially because they missed a land drop. And, like, the Ren doesn't do a whole lot anyways, because we don't have a land to get back. I think I'm going to decay this in their upkeep. I'm going to pass and see if they put a 1-drop into play first, though. And if they don't put a 1-drop in, then we can just decay it on their upkeep. Alright, well, now I'll just do it because they're tapped out. Yeah, so now, worst case, they draw... I guess this unlocks Mantis Rider if they find a land, but we can probably just race Mantis Rider at this point. Okay, they conceded. Anything I want to change when I'm on the draw? I don't think so. I think everything is where I want it to be. I could consider Kolaghan's Command, because it is nice that it blows up Vile and kills a creature. But it's especially clunky on the draw against Thalia that I don't think I want to do that. reveal our Luris. Sand is close. Opponent kept 7. Not having anything to do on turn 1 kind of makes me think this hand's a mulligan. This hand is just super clunky. It can fall behind very easily. I think I'm gonna ship this. Yes, I like this hand a lot better. I think I should put back the second Inquisition. Ideally, they play a creature on turn 1, we bolt it. They play a Thalia, we probably bolt it. Then we have this to maybe clean things up. I could just ship this. But I think this is more of a beating. Like, this blows out a lot more of their draws. And there's a chance that we might not have time for the second Inquisition, / they might run out of cards before we can find time to convert it. They didn't play anything on turn 1? That's wild. They kept 5-land Auriok Champion Mantis Rider. Well, I'm going to take Auriok Champion. Interesting keep from the opponent. Can't deploy the Scourge yet. Just debating if I want to play this Explosives. I don't think I do. I'm just going to hold up Bolt for their Mantis Rider. Island, Mantis Rider. I'm going to save the Bloodstained Mire in the push, I think. Debating if I want to take a hit from this for Scourge purposes. Now, we have this Bloodstained Mire if we want to deal damage to ourselves. I'm not going to get aggressive and fetch shock bolt them. I'm just going to leave up the Bloodstained Mire for push. Okay, well now we can just put Luris into our hand, which I think is where I want to be. I think I'm going to get... I want to get 1 basic and 1 dual. So I guess we get... You don't really ever need double green. I guess I get Swamp Overgrown Tomb. Do I want more red? More red is nice if we draw Seal of Fire. So maybe I get Swamp Stomping Ground. That probably makes more sense. Okay, pass turn. We know they have 2 Canopy lands in their hand. It's not that bad for us, because we do have this Explosives. And they played Canopy. I mean, they very unlikely have another 2-drop in their hand, because they obviously probably would have just played it. So it's a question of, do we want to just put this Luris down and really do nothing with it? I think what I want to do is just play EE for 2. And just kind of hold it up with my bolt. What I'll probably do is if they attack, I'll take 1 damage, and then I'll just end step the EE. And then on my next turn, what I can do is I can Luris and recast it for 1, which is kind of nice. Okay, they're going to crack that. That makes sense. And they can't really deploy any 2-drops here, so the best they can do is play 1s and Mantis Riders. Interesting. In terms of sequencing, I guess it's better to just bolt this now. They gain a life off of it, which is a little annoying with the Scourge, but I'll eventually be able to deal them some damage. I'm the control deck in this matchup, so like I would say I ended up paying 2 life for almost nothing, but I think this is okay. I played the clearing we knew about. Alright, same thing as last turn. We'll just pass here. I had the option of cracking explosives and taking 3 from the Mantis Rider so they didn't gain a life, but whether they're at 20 or 21, I still can't play the Scourge anyways. Here we're definitely taking a hit from this, holding up the explosives. If they do nothing, we'll crack it at the turn. They definitely can't really deploy any 2s into this board. They probably should have done that pre-combat. Sure. Oh, I probably should have cracked the... Well, I guess cracking the explosives in response gives them the opportunity to play land in a 2-drop. So I think this was fine. We'll just crack that. Question is, do I want to kill this? They're on 3 cards? No, I don't think I do. I think this is fine. We have a 5/6 Goyf we can deploy. I guess that's probably better than just playing this Luris. Because we have 2 more removal spells in our hand anyways. We can't dismember this, which is nice. Because that is certainly a card that they could be holding in their hand. That would make sense. Looks like they have Reflector Mage. They have Freebooter. Okay, Freebooter resolves. Regardless of what they take, I can just kill the Freebooter and then use the other thing to kill the champion. So this is fine with me. General Kudrow. Huh. With 1 card in their hand? I think I just let them have that. Bolt the Kudrow. Oh no, I can't because they took the Fatal Push. Because I can't bolt the Kudrow and then push the champion. Alright, I guess I'm just going to kill both of these then. That's mildly annoying. They get to take the explosives, which makes the Luris a little bit worse, but I guess I could just hold the Fatal Push. I don't have to cast it right now. So that way if I draw a fetch land, I can just kill the Kudrow. Trying to think here. Yeah, I think I'll wait a turn on the push. Oh, that's good. So now we can go green, red, Ren. I'm going to play Ren first. I'm going to get back this one because I probably want to get a basic here. And then we can attack with the Goyf. Actually, yeah, this is good. Yeah, attack with the Goyf, see what they do. And then they're not going to block, they're just going to take it. And then what we can do is we can fetch for a basic forest, push this, and play a Scourge. The reason I'm attacking is because I'm going to push the Kudrow, and I'm going to assume they have a human. Which means we're not going to be able to block this champion anyways. And I actually don't really care if they kill the Ren, because I could just Luris and replay it. I'm going to kill the Kudrow now so they can't kill my Goyf in response. So, like, if they, worst case scenario, they just, oh, they don't even play a human pre-combat. I'm gonna say, worst case scenario, they play a human, they can threaten to kill Ren, but even if they do, we just Blurus and replay it, so I'm just gonna let Ren take 3. Looks like they're flooding out. Should be pretty trivial from here. Plus on this Verdant. Attack for 6. Cast the Luris. Play Verdant. Pass. Aether Vial. That's not the card they wanted to draw, I would imagine. Got the GGs. Alrighty. Just chatting about plays. But yeah, I mean, this Jund has always traditionally been a slight favorite over the humans deck. I say slight because I don't think it's necessarily as favored as some people think it is. I mean, there are probably humans players that think they're favored. I think it's just a very close matchup. Game 1 is usually a blowout in Jund's favor, but the post-board games when they have champion sometimes they can get a little bit hairy, especially if they can grow the champion or put multiple into play. But the other problem with the Royak champion is Goyf just bricks it, and we have explosives in our sideboard, which we drew. And but yeah, so that was round number 1. I hope everybody enjoyed that little showcase of this new Jund build, and I hope to see you back for round number 2. All right, everybody, we are back here for round number 2. We actually won the die roll this time. How lucky. We'll show our opponent our Luris. It looks like our opponent also has a companion. They have an Obosh. I think this matchup is bad, but I'm interested to see how the games play out. This hand is really awkward. We do have Thoughtseize on turn 1, which is nice. Take their 1-drop. The issue is we have Scourge and not Tarmogoyf. And their deck doesn't really take that much damage. They don't play any fetch lands. They play sometimes 1 to 2 Canopy lands, but we can't really rely on them having that. I mean, obviously we can bolt them, but we don't want to be bolting them. We want to be bolting their creatures. I actually think this hand might be a mulligan, just because, again, their deck does not really cooperate well with Scourge. They don't really deal themselves damage, and we don't have any pressure. We don't have any Tarmogoyfs to deal them damage. Also, this Unearth is probably never going to do anything. I think I'm actually going to mulligan this. They mulligan to 6. This hand is sketch, for sure. But I think I'm willing to keep this on 6 already. And I'm going to ship one of these 2 cards. I think because this being able to be like a healing salve or at least cycle makes me want it more than this Croak, so that's probably never doing anything. I'm definitely going to lead on a discard spell. Inquisition. Depending on their hand, too, there is some chance I just save this Thoughtseize until the turn they put Obosh in their hand. It's not likely, but it is a possibility. I really find it interesting how the companions change your mulligan decisions. Like, I think in the dark, I would probably keep that hand that last hand 9 times out of 10. But because we know what our opponent's playing, it just gives you a lot more information, which I think is a really cool aspect to companions. It just adds another layer to another, complexity to the game, which is really awesome. Like, imagine if our opponent was playing Mono Red Prowess, but they didn't have Obosh as their companion. I would have kept that hand, and I probably would have got rolled over. So it's almost like my opponent is not going to say giving away equity, because obviously Obosh is quite good in their deck, but I'm saying what I mean to say is that, you know, they might be losing very small percentage points, whereas otherwise it's kind of like a risk versus reward. Is, you know, how many percentage points am I losing by telling my opponent what deck I'm playing before they decide their mulligan, versus how many games am I winning with Obosh? And the deck does win quite a few number of games with Obosh, so. Alright, our opponent is taking a little bit longer on this 6-card decision. They've mulliganed to 6, and they're deciding whether or not to mulligan to 5, so. Alright, and right as I said that, they decided to keep. Alright, so we're going to bobble them first to give ourselves more information on this Inquisition. It showed us Lava Dart, which is annoying. That makes this Hexdrinker quite bad. They decided to keep. Yeah, this hand's great. Oh, I guess they were deciding on what's at bottom. I guess I take Swift Spear. I can't really let them have 2 uncontested Swift Spears. I can take the Swift Spear, they play land Swift Spear, then I get Thoughtseize the Bolt. I guess that's what I have to do. Okay. Not the best. And that's not good. So we have Sorcery, Artifact, Creature. Assuming I draw a fetch land, this Gwaif's going to be a 4/5, which means they have to cast 2 spells to kill it, so I think I should just take Bolt anyways. Bolt is also just threatens a lot more damage with the Swift Spear. Sorcery, Artifact, Creature, Instant. Oh, yeah, actually. Oh, because there was no instant yet. Okay, so this actually... Now if I draw a fetch land, the Gwaif's a 5/6, which means they have to cast this, and flash it back to kill my Gwaif, which is good for me. I think that's a good exchange. I would accept that exchange. But the thing is, we have to draw a fetch land first. And I actually think because of that sequence, like, assume... Obviously, we know they have Lava Dart, and our Hexdrinker is really bad against Lava Dart. However, if we get them to cast the Lava Dart here, that means that our Gwaif might not be threatened by slash plus dart plus flashback. So I guess I'll just throw this Hexdrinker to the wolves, as they say. Because they're going to be able to make that exchange no matter what anyways. So. Might as well force it. And they might not even want to cast the dart. Who knows? Okay, looks like they do. Interesting that they didn't do it on their turn for the prowess trigger. Okay. They wanted to put Obosh in their hand. Well, I guess it is time to cycle this Cling. Alright, I'm going to make a bit of a strange play here. I understand that if we Cling the Dart, they can sack a land. However, they just put Obosh in their hand. We know their hand is Flame Slash, Obosh, 1 unknown. If they sack their land, they're so far off of Obosh that I think I'm okay trading Cling to Dust for a land. I know I don't get to cycle it, but... Oh, well, they didn't sack, and we didn't draw land anyways. So we are in a bad spot. This matchup just seems incredibly bad because we have 4 Hexdrinkers, they have 4 Lava Darts, and we have these Scourges, 4 Scourges that we can just basically never cast because they just don't deal themselves damage. So this matchup just seems really bad with this specific version of Jund, at least. If they play Obosh, we obviously have to... Well, we're going to Fatal Push this anyways, but... I think we're in a pretty bad spot here. Alright, land please. Right, we'll keep playing our cards. I don't think we can win this game anymore, but I guess we'll, keep playing. Wow. I am okay with that exchange. I don't think we can afford to get a shock land here. I think we have to get a basic. So I'll get a forest. Like, I understand we can't cast this bolt, but if we go to 4... Yeah, maybe we're supposed to go to 4 there. Ideally, these 2 Glyphs can just carry us. Oh, they have 2 Flame Slashes? They just threw 3 of them, okay. So they have Obosh, 1 unknown. Never mind, we're dead. Alright, game 2. I mean, obviously that game was just a product of, we kept the 1-lander with a... We mulliganed to 6, kept the 1-lander with a bobble, never drew a second land until turn 7, so... It is what it is. Let's see if this matchup improves after sideboarding. Kozilek's Return is a bit of a risky proposition because if they have a Lava Dart, they can easily protect their creatures from it. But this matchup just might be bad enough where we kind of have to do that. I'm not sure, though. And all these cards are not. Yeah, this specific 75 was certainly not tuned with this matchup in mind. I think Crooks is pretty bad. I'm actually not... Yeah, I'm just not going to bring in these Gay Returns. I think our best plan is just to try and aggro them out. Like, Ren and 6 is not great either. A lot of our cards are not great, and we don't really have a lot of good sideboard cards. It's possible that the person who won this challenge just dodged this matchup the entire time. Because this matchup seems close to unwinnable. At least the way this deck is constructed. Tarmogoyf is quite good against them. They very frequently have to use 2 resources to kill it. I think had we hit land drops much earlier, we maybe had a shot at that game, because they kind of just drew a bunch of air. But... Game number 2, we get to be on the play. Let's see what we have. We have more lands than game 1, which is nice. Definitely going to keep this in. I'm just trying to figure out how I want to sequence this. We kept 7. I'm going to Thoughtseize them, I think. And the reason for that is I want to try and save Hexdrinker until I get the 4 mana. Or I can potentially play this and level it up in the same turn while they're tapped out. And I think I'm just going to get Blood Crypt here. Because I'm going to end up getting Blood Crypt anyways at some point. And I want to try and disguise my hand a little bit. Wow. Their hand is quite poor. Protection from instants, not sorceries. I still don't really want to take Flame Slash. I'm just going to take Relic. Their hand is really suspect. Not sure why they would keep 4-land Bolt / Relic in this matchup. And we drew a Tarmogoyf, which Artifact, Sorcery, Land, which does die to Flame Slash. So I think what I'm going to do is just play... Actually, I kind of want to just hold up a Braid here. And then... Yeah. And then worst case, if I don't get to cast a Braid, I can just play Seal and Goyf next turn. But the nice thing about holding up a Braid here is if I get to convert my Braid, I just get to use my mana so much more efficiently. And if not, I still get to use all of my mana next turn, so it's not that bad. Yeah, this is fine. Now they can't kill this Goyf. They've played 2 of their mountains. And obviously they don't have Obosh in their hand, so Bolt / 2 mountains, 2 unknowns. I'm kind of really shocked that they kept that hand. So now they have the 2 for 1 themselves. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a 2 for 2, but... yeah, and this is exactly the spot where we want to be. Where now we get to play Hexdrinker. Oh, I guess they have Bolt up. So we don't get to play Hexdrinker and level up the same turn. This is fine. We'll just play Ren. Get back. Bloodstained Mire. I'm going to play Bloodstained Mire because I kind of want to get a basic swamp and crack my peatland this turn. And we get to hold up a Braid this way, which is nice. So they put Obosh in their hand. That is okay with me. Let's get a basic swamp. Let's sack this peatland. Another Goyf, which is nice. So now we can get back peatlands. Play peatland, play Goyf, hold up a Braid. I think that's okay. Looks like they're casting Obosh here, which is okay with me. We can't kill it currently. Just trying to figure out if I want to sack this peatland here. I think I do. It makes it so I don't have 5 mana, but I think that's okay. Because I need to find, basically I just need to find a Bolt or Dismember or something like that. Even another Ren would actually do it too. That's a little late to the party. So we know they have bolts in their hand. Unfortunately, I think we have to Thoughtseize them here. Thoughtseize, go to 11. And then we have to maybe try and set up a Braid plus... No, we can't. In order to Luris seal a Braid, we would need 6 mana. And we only have 4 after this land drop, and then we have 5 next turn. So we're going to be a mana short next turn. It's kind of an awkward spot. I guess I'm going to Thoughtseize them and see what they have. Okay, well, their hand still is not that great. So the Firebolt can deal, what, 4 damage? Yeah, Firebolt deals 4. I think I just get back the Peatland, play the Peatland, play Hexdrinker, leave up the cracking of Peatland. I'm trying to figure out if I can attack here. I don't really think I can, because then I just get chunked for 6. Am I racing them if I attack here, though? Because if I attack, they go to 12. They untap Firebolt by Hexdrinker, attack me for 6. I go to 5. They're at 12, and I have a 6/7 Goyf. No, I think I have to hold back here. Tough spot. I say tough spot even though they have 3 lands in their hand. It's just... This card is quite powerful. Once we kill this card, this game gets easier, but... if they use a bunch of resources to kill the Goyf, like let's say they draw a bolt, they crack Sunbait Candy and draw another bolt, and they just decided to, well, they would just kill us at that point, but say they like flame slash this Goyf, we can just chump block with the Hexdrinker and then abrade it, which is nice. Oh. Do I care about that? They have 2 mountains, 1 unknown. Guess I can cycle this in response. It's kind of a free roll. I guess cycling that in response is really bad if they drew exactly Flame Slash. Okay, that's fine. Cling to Dust. Interesting. So their last 2 cards are mountains. Just trying to think of how we want to proceed. Unfortunately, they have this Firebolt in the graveyard. I guess we can just cling it. We should probably start the turn by clinging their Firebolt, right? Yeah, almost certainly. Okay, now what we can do is we can get back Peatland, play Peatland. I'm going to abrade this now, level up once, and we'll pass again. And now we're threatening a Ren Ultimate, which should probably close it out. I mean, it makes it so... Oh, that's a good... Oh my god, that is quite a good draw. That bricks my Goyf and my Ren Ultimate. Wow, that is an insane draw. That is... Yep, that's quite good. They're attacking me. Just take this. We still know they have 2 mountains in their hand. If we take this, we die to a bolt. I guess this Goyf isn't really doing anything. It's really unfortunate. I think they kept quite a bad hand, too. But they just drew pretty well off of it. The hand they kept seems so bad. It is what it is. I guess this matchup is bad enough, it doesn't really matter what kind of hand they keep. It's not a bad draw. It allows us to kill this, which I guess we have to do. And then I think we should level this up twice and just pass. I want to keep all the lands in my hand for flashing back bolts. Yeah, so I'm just going to pass here. Not out of it yet. This makes it so they can relic my bolt now. But, yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to play a land there. Guess I could have played a land to maybe kill the Pyromancer if they went to Relic. But, yeah, that's not worth it. I don't think. Because this thing's at level 3. We can still just play a land and level it up 5 times next turn. And that might be good enough. They have a 2/2. I think that's okay. I'm just gonna go for the full level here. I think this is our best shot at winning now. Alright. 3-turn clock. We end up taking 2 damage, but... which is potentially 2 damage we might not have taken if we had played a land last turn, because we could have just flashed back the bolt to kill the Pyromancer, which then the Pyromancer would have gotten exiled by the Relic. but yeah, maybe that was better. Because we knew that they had the relic in place, so we knew that our bolt was going to be gone if we didn't play the land. So that was probably just a spew. They just have 3 bolts. Oh. Okay. They have 1 card in their hand. It's pretty good. That doesn't matter. Alright, well, let's play our seal. And we get to kill 2 things in combat, so we die to exactly another lightning bolt. Which they've only used 2 so far. I guess we also die to firebolt because they have enough to play and flash it back. I mean, I can't realistically leave this back, right? No, I can't. I have to attack here. I can't give them more draw steps. I think this is not going to work out ultimately, but... let's see what happens. Very interesting game. Very, very interesting game. It's possible that I screwed this game up by abrading the Soulscar Mage the turn that I did, because if I had saved the abrade, I could have drawn another burn spell to finish off the Obosh. Oh, that was bad. I should have. Well, I guess this game's ending this turn one way or another. Kind of doesn't matter if I kill their Pyromancers now. Am I dead? Wow, what a game. What a game. Hexdrinker, ladies and gentlemen. Hexdrinker has really impressed me in this deck. Is there anything that we want to change? I mean, all these cards seem kind of bad. I could have Trophy for their Obosh, because I don't have a lot of ways to kill Obosh. I really just have this one Dismember. I think I'll just submit this. That was a crazy game. A lot of decisions that I think could have gone either way. A very, very close game. Alright. I'll be on the draw for game 3. Looking for probably just some removal spells. You have to be a little bit cognizant of Blood Moon. I mean, this hand's really awkward because it has basic Swamp Wren in 6, but if you ignore the Wren, the rest of this hand is quite good. You have 2 discard spells, a Bolt, and a Goyf, so I'm going to keep it. I don't love this hand, but I'm going to keep it. It's really awkward that I want to get Blood Crypt with this, but if I get Blood Crypt, I can't cast Tarmogoyf. Because what I'm thinking is I want to kill the Swift Spear on turn 1 and then play 2 discard spells on turn 2. But the only way I can do that is if I get Blood Crypt, which locks me off of casting this Goyf. So I have to weigh those options. If I get Stomping Ground, I can't double spell on turn 2, which is really awkward. I want to say that double spelling is more important than playing a Goyf early, so I'm just going to get Blood Crypt and kill this. Just going to kill it now. Okay, it's fine with me. Them hitting the Blood Moon there is really bad for me. Yeah, I didn't draw a way to find a green mana. Guess I'll cast some discard spells. Well, they don't have a land. So I guess I'll take Bone Crusher, Flame Slash, and just hope they don't draw a land. Then breaking on land here would be quite good for me. Wait, what did they do? Oh, they cast this stop. Okay, I was going to say. Yeah, not the best. I think I'm actually not going to play anything because I just want to hold up Bolt for this. If I play Seal, I have to seal them and then push this, which I don't want to do because that uses more resources, so I'd rather just pass. What I'm looking for is a Verdant Catacomb so I can get a basic forest. That would be perfect. We know they have Fire Bolts in their hand, but I mean, there is a shot they just burn us out this game. Because we're going to take 2 when we kill this. We go to 8. Okay, can't cast that. That is acceptable. We'll just Fatal Push that. Question is, do I want to bolt them to play this Scourge? The problem with bolting them is would unlock this. I don't think I can. This is getting awkward. I mean, obviously it looks really bad that I didn't... now that we have 2 bolts, I'm fine bolting them. Yeah, if they drew a bolt, they drew a bolt. It's fine. Or Flame Slash. Flame Slash is going to trade for this. Ooh, don't have it. Well, let's attack first. Are they not bolting this? Ooh, that is really good for us. Now we might just be super far ahead. Well, we are super far ahead now. Yeah, them just breaking on land 3 forever. Like now they can play a 4/3 that chump blocks, but is that even good for them? Yeah, we're in a very good spot here. Then breaking on land 3 for a while gave us the window to come back in this game. Like, if they drew land 3 to cast Blood Moon the turn that we double discard spelled them, I think this game would have been... I guess it wouldn't have been that much different because they still wouldn't have drawn lands, and we could have just done this exact same sequence of bolt them play a Scourge. We actually would have done it earlier because we wouldn't have the threat of Bone Crusher Giant, so... I'm not even sure that the game would be that much different, but... It's a good card. Makes some chump blockers. That's also a good card. Let's attack first. I believe I'm just going to play Tarmogoyf and Seal of Fire here. I imagine they'll probably block 1 and take 6. Oh, so they're just dead. Okay, well, that makes it easy. Well, interesting. Very interesting match. That game was a little anticlimactic as to how good the game number 2 was. But yeah, overall, I think it's maybe it's a closer matchup than I thought. It is like the traditional. Your creatures are bigger than their removal spells because they don't have Fatal Push, Terminate, things like that. They're all burn based, and your creatures can outpace the burn spells pretty quickly. So that is an edge you have in the matchup. The edge they have is obviously they're a lot faster. And they have some pretty effective sideboard cards. Blood Moon Relic can be good in certain spots, But look at that game, for example. They had Blood Moon and it just didn't do anything because they were just too far behind. So overall, interesting matchup. And I hope everybody enjoyed that. And I hope to see you back for round number 3. All right, we are back here for round number 3. We won the die roll. We'll just reveal our Lurrus here. Looks like our opponent also has a companion to reveal. Let's see what they show us. They showed us a Lurrus. And we have the classic Jund hand, discard spell into Goyf, so we will easily keep. Let's see what flavor of Lurrus deck they're on. Trying to think of what land I want to lead on. I think I'm going to lead on Blood Crypts. A little worse if I draw a Bauble, but I don't want to take more damage off this Peat land. Oops. Looks like they are red-black, prowess, and or Death Shadow. This hand is an interesting one. You have to think here. It's a sorcery land, instant. We take Fatal Push, they can't really kill our Goyf. They can even if they draw land, they can double seal. But our Goyf, the seal would put our Goyf to a 4/5. So I think I'm just gonna take Fatal Push. Because they don't have that many answers to Goyf. It's basically just Fatal Push. This does make their Lurrus a little bit better because I can't Thoughtseize Lurrus when they have Unearth in their hand. But they're a bit of ways away from Lurrus because they only have 1 land. So they're just going to play Swift Spirit and cycle the Bauble. Makes sense. This Bauble's actually going to make our Goyf a 5/6 with the Seal Fire. I imagine they'll Bauble us on our upkeep. They do. They know we're drawing a Goyf. Well, I will play the Goyf. The next turn we can play a Goyf and one of these, depending on what they do. Yeah, that's pretty good for them. Take the Goyf, but now we can just discard spell Fatal Push, which I think is fine with me. Yeah, they obviously take Goyf. Let's lead on... Actually, let's lean on Bauble to see what they're drawing. Get more information before we Thoughtseize them. They have a Bauble on top. Okay. Seal, TBR, Thoughtseize, Unearth. I think I'm just going to take Unearth. Because I'm going to be Fatal Pushing this Swift Spear. It's awkward leaving them with Thoughtseize because if we draw a spell here, they get to Thoughtseize it, but I think that's okay with me. Like, if they cast Thoughtseize, they go to 11, they're just... You know, they're way too far behind. I mean, if they find Push, maybe they have a shot this game, but... Looks like they did find Push because they didn't cast Thoughtseize. Could have sealed first to deal more damage, which maybe I should have done. It's kind of a spew of resources, though. Like, obviously, it deals 1 more damage, but I don't think I really need to do that. Like, even if they find Fatal Push, they're still just dead. So I don't think the 1 damage really matters that much. Yeah, they basically had no way out at that point. I guess they could draw land and... no, because they didn't draw Fatal Push the turn prior. Okay, so red-black. Unclear whether it's... Well, they showed us TBR, so it's definitely red-black's Shadow. Red-black Shadow, what do we want? Not really sure. We definitely want EE. I don't hate Spellbomb because they're a Lurrus deck. I don't hate Trophy. They have 2 basic lands in their deck, which makes me not want Trophy because it accelerates them to their Lurruses. I do like Culligan's Command because Tarmogoyf is the most important card in the matchup. I don't really like any of this stuff. I think Veil of Summer is too situational in a deck like in a matchup like this, where it's really just all about having 2-for-1s, and you don't really want to draw a blank, especially later in the game. As for cards I'm going to consider cutting, guess we don't have much to bring in. We don't really have much that's bad either. Probably trim a Hexdrinker. And actually, no, we'll just trim some discard spells. The discard spells aren't great in this matchup. I think I want to keep all my threats. Okay. We will reveal Luris again. Sand is decent. Not great, but decent. Definitely a keep. Depending on what they do, we can lead on Bolt or Hexdrinker. Most likely leading on Bolt, but we'll see what they do. Overgrown Tomb Pass. Interesting. Doesn't necessarily signify Fatal Push. They could just be paying 2 life because they want to further their Death Shadow plan. Let's play some baubles. I'm just going to play out this Hexdrinker. Hexdrinker dies to so many things in this matchup anyways. Alright, so I'm going to take a look at the card they're drawing off of this, which is a Peatland. We'll let them draw, and then we'll take a look at their next card. So 2 lands. Let's see if they're playing a Scourge here. I can't imagine they would play a Scourge into a Lightning Bolt. Maybe they have Goyf. Or they just have a Bolt. Sure, that makes sense. Acceptable. Kroxa and a Goyf. Interesting. How would I like to sequence this? I could play a Scourge, because it doesn't get bolted now. I kind of want to just play Kroxa, and then I can Thoughtseize into Goyf next turn. The reason I want to wait, like, obviously if I play Goyf, they could just have Fatal Push. It's a pretty likely scenario. And if I Thoughtseize this turn, I can't cast 2 spells. So I don't really want it to play a creature here, because they have an easy Fatal Push turn. So I think I just want to play Kroxa here. Uses all of my mana, and it makes it so I can double spell next turn, Thoughtseize their Fatal Push, and then play a threat. They discarded Unearth. I wonder if they're just going to put Luris into their hand. They're not. Swift Spear, Bauble. And they're going to Bauble us. And our upkeep, most likely. So they know we're drawing Cliffs, so I guess we'll play that. I still think they have a Fatal Push in their hand, so I'm going to Thoughtseize them first. They're at 15. So what would they have to draw for Death Shadow to not die to Lightning Bolts? They can take 1 end step. Untap, draw fetch land, so they'd be at 14. They can go to 13. The fetch land puts them to 10. So even if they draw a fetch land, the bolt still kills the shadow. I'm going to take Fatal Push. And because we're leaving them with Death Shadow in their hand, I'm actually going to play Scourge here, because they're incentivized to deal themselves damage because they have Shadow, which just makes our Scourge better. Obviously, if they draw Fatal Push, I'd rather have them Fatal Push the Goyf, but Let's see what they drew. They drew a Scourge. It's good for them. They can't play Death Shadow, though. Okay. Yeah, so here we just draw a Fatal Push. And we're probably Gucci. There's a Fatal Push. Yeah, let's push this. 11. They'd go to 3. Interesting spot. 6 puts them to 8. Huh. Considering not even attacking here. 6, 11, put them to 3. I'm trying to think. If I attack, I can bolt them, which puts them to 11. My Scourge is an 8/8, so they would go to 3. And then I could play Tarmogoyf with them at 3. They wouldn't be able to attack with the Swift Spear. Could maybe get a little dicey if they draw a TBR. I think that's okay, though. The reason I want to bolt them here is because it puts them to 3, which means another bolt is lethal. Like, both of our creatures are going to be lethal regardless, because if we don't bolt them, they go to 8, and then we have a 6/6 Scourge and a 5-power Goyf, which means that either creature plus the bolt is lethal. Like, yes, they get to play a 10/10 now, but we could also just draw... Ugh, that's a good draw from them. Oh no. This is disaster. This is disaster. Well, wow, we're actually dead. Yeah, we block a Death Shadow and take lethal. Did not expect that. I mean, we're gonna play as if we have a Fatal Push, but I don't think they're gonna respect Fatal Push here. They shouldn't. They should just attack with everything. Wow. That's crazy. I guess I should have just played a little bit slower then, huh? Because if we had waited, we would have drawn Inquisition, which could have taken their Death Shadow. We'd probably easily win this game. Yeah. Maybe I got a little too aggressive there. Alright, well, we get game 3. This matchup, I think, is quite favorable from our side. Slower Jund is traditionally more favored against the faster Jund builds. This hand's too risky. This hand is good. Can put back this Peatland, I think, pretty easily. Opponent mulliganed. They went to 5. Definitely get a lead on Inquisition when opponent mulligans to 5. We'll just take their Swift Spear, I think. Yeah. Wait, why wouldn't they bobble themselves? That's weird. They definitely should have bobbled themselves. Just gonna get a shock land. I'm surprised they didn't bobble themselves. I don't know why they wouldn't. So we know they have Lightning Bolt in their hand. So we have to be a little bit careful with this Scourge. It's a good draw. Okay, so now, if we crack the fetch, we go to 16, we play Seal of Fire, then Scourge, If they go to bolt it, we can seal fire them. They would be at 15, we'd be at 16. This would be a 4/4, so they have to use 2 spells to kill it. And then if we do that, we can just gate command it back. So I'm gonna get a basic here though. I could shock and go to 14 to make it a 5/5, but if they have 2 bolts are gonna kill this even if I make it a 5/5. So I'm just gonna get a swamp here. Doesn't really matter, right? Get back Verdant. I could play this Hexdrinker, but the Hexdrinker just very easily dies to Lightning Bolt. So I'm at least going to make them use more than 1 resource on the Scourge. And actually, they have to fetch in order to cast the Bolt anyways. Alright, well. So they have Bolt to 1 unknown. Yeah, I think they're just misusing their baubles. Maybe they don't realize that they can just target themselves and fetch. Because they definitely should have done that. That is a strange play. I'm not even sure why they care about the red at this point. Okay. So they have a 4/4 Scourge. This could get dicey if they have... No, we can just... Yeah, so we can go return, deal 2 damage, so we get back the Scourge, deal 2 to this. And then we seal fire it. We crack this for a basic forest. We cast Hexdrinker, we get our land back. Everything is good in the world. This does leave our Hexdrinker open to our removal spell, but we really got to kill the Scourge there, I think. While we have the opportunity to kill it with... Yeah, I mean, that's annoying, but it's also fine. Could do a Fatal Push check. We don't care about bolts. We will fetch... I think I'm just going to fetch a tap land. And we'll play a 6/6. Best turn. Guess I could have Luris there, but I want to try and put some pressure on them. Okay, they've seen enough. Yeah, I mean, unfortunate that they mulligan to 5. I think these games are usually pretty close and most interesting for the most part. But yeah, I do think this version is favored against the Death Shadow version because this version just has more sticky threats and more removal spells. And their deck is basically for Fatal Push and Prey, and we just have too many answers or too many threats that they need to... Their Fatal Pushes are stretched is what I meant to say. But yeah, 3-0. Hope you enjoyed the matches, and we'll see you back for round number 4 in just a bit. Alright, we are back here for round number 4 with, I guess we'll call it Luris Hexdrinker Jund. It's kind of a long name. Anyways, we are currently 3-0. We lost the die roll. We'll go ahead and show our opponent our Luris. And our opponent revealed another Obosh deck. I'm interested to see... play more games of this matchup because I think this matchup is really unfavorable, but I'm going to keep this hand. There's a lot of 1-drops, which is nice. We get to double, potentially triple spell. I'm going to Fatal Push this, and then I could potentially Fatal Push plus Hexdrinker on turn 2. This Verdant Catacombs is pretty resigned into getting a Blood Crypt, so I'd rather just play the team first. Because maybe if I don't draw a red card, I could potentially just fetch a tapped Blood Crypt. Definitely going to Fatal Push this. Alright, so that leads me to believe they probably have Light Up the Stage in their hand. So let's lead on Inquisition. There's a possibility we might cast another discard spell here. They have Lightning Bolt, Flame Slash, Firebolt. How do I want to play this? Maybe I want to take Lightning Bolt, take Flame Slash. 17, that would put me at 12. They put Obosh in their hand, then I thought sees Obosh play a Hexdrinker. They Firebolt it, then I can Luris, but then they have this Flashback Firebolt for the Luris. I think that's my best use of mana, though. I do think I have to get a red source here. I mean, I could get a basic Swamp, but let's get Flame Slash. So now they're probably going to put Obosh in their hand. Oh, they drew that, which is okay. We have Fatal Push. I kind of hope they Firebolt us. That means I might not be able to kill this Hexdrinker. Yeah, I think this is actually quite good for us, that they're using a Firebolt here. So we go to 8. We can play our forests. I guess there's no reason to Fatal Push this now. I mean, they know we have Fatal Push because we didn't level this up twice, but there's the mountain we knew about. Let's see if they drew another removal spell here. I'm going to block. Potentially get another, like if they have a Lightning Bolt, maybe they bolt me to try and save their Swift Spear. Now they're probably just going to put Obosh in their hand, which again is good for us. Yeah. And we are going to be at 6, which is a little scary. Actually, wait a minute. I'm trying to think if I want to level this up to... Go to 16. It doesn't actually change the clock, but if I don't level it to level 4 and I don't draw a land, I can't make it a 6/6 next turn. Let's see what they're drawing. Drawing Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah, okay, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get a basic Swamp. It does put me to 3, and I get to play it this turn. Yeah, this is awkward, because now we can't really... I guess we can offer the trade of Hexdrinker for Bone Crusher Giant, but I'm not sure how much I like that. We'll see what we draw. Like, I guess what I could do is just make this a 6/6, play a tap lane, and pass. If I attack, they go to 12. If they don't block. I think there's like a decent chance they don't block. Okay. Them not blocking is good for us. We're still dead to a lot of cards, but I think this was our best line. We are not dead to that. We go to 2. We're dead next turn to it. But they actually die if we draw a Lightning Bolt, though. Or Seal Fire. Or Red and 6. I actually have a decent number of outs to kill them. Not that. So close. Yeah, we have 11 here. Yeah, they just had this Firebolt to kill us. That is unfortunate. I wonder if we had leveled this up instead of playing the Goyf. Yeah, we still would have lost, because we'd have 2 blockers. I guess they wouldn't have been able to attack. Then we draw this. We're still kind of in the spot where we're kind of just staring at each other. Because I can't really attack, because then if I attack with one thing, they take it. I block the Bone Crusher, go to 2, and then they Firebolt me. So So we're still kind of in the same spot. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I could have done differently that game. I guess I could have not gotten the Blood Crypts, and I could have been at 4 instead of 2. I guess, I mean, I didn't have any red cards in my hand at the time, but that was close. What did we do last time? Did we cut Croxa? I think we cut Croxa, right? Or no, we cut Cling. What else did we bring in? Maybe we kept in Cling. Alright, let's do this. I think Croaks is too slow. Also, they're bringing in relics. So Croxa gets a little bit worse. Yeah, that was a really close game. I think the only thing I realistically could have done differently was not fetch Blood Crypt. And I would have been at 4. But, I mean, there's obviously a scenario where I don't fetch Blood Crypt and I immediately draw a red spell, and I kind of regret it, but, you know. Just had to weigh the cost-benefit analysis at that time. This hand is painful, but I'm going to keep it. Their deck is a lot slower than the other, like, Shadow variants, because they don't really have any free spells in their deck. Their deck is a lot more clunky, for the most part. If I take Relic, that's sorcery, artifact, land, I have a 3/4. Yeah, I'm going to take Relic here. They're probably going to play a creature on turn 1, but what I can do is I can just kill both their creatures on turn 2. I imagine they're going to play Bomat here, if I had to guess. That's Soul Scar, interesting. I probably would have played Bomat there. I want to get a green source with this anyway, so I might as well do that now. Yep, that's fine. Okay. I'll pass priority. See if they would like to bolt me. Let's bolt their Bomat. See if they want to make a move. I'll still kill this. It's fine. Now I can just play Goyf in a tap land. We know they have a bolt. They have a 5/6. They have to likely spend 2 resources to kill it. Unless they drew a relic, that would be kind of bad for us. Hopefully they just put Obosh in their hand. That I don't really care about. I may or may not... Well, I'm not going to cycle Unearth this turn because I'm just going to put Lurrus in my hand, but... Or if they have Blood Moon, that'd be kind of bad. Okay. Oh. Well, that's actually fine, because now we can just get a basic Swamp, Unearth the Goyf, and put Lurrus in our hand. So we don't actually care about that. Another Hellbent. Ooh. I can't play that. Alright, let's do this. Get basic Swamp. Lurrus. Pass. Now if we get a hit in with this and draw a land, we can play both of these. They're probably not going to jump block, if I had to guess. So even if they draw a land, they can play Obosh. The best they can do is trade with one of my creatures. Yeah, that I don't really care about. That's probably not going to be good enough. They get to kill Lurrus here, but then they just, what, take 10? I mean, obviously, they kind of have to kill Lurrus here. They can't really do much else with this, you know. Their last card's Obosh. I think it's actually worth decaying this and putting them to 10, putting them to 5. Otherwise, they get the chump block and stay at 10. Because this way, like, they chump block, stay at 10, they play Obosh. I guess they would still have to trade. Yeah, they would still have to chump block this next turn anyways. It probably doesn't matter. Again, I think K-Command's still too slow in this matchup. I think K-Return... Yeah, it's just so bad against Lava Dart. If they just have a Lava Dart in their graveyard, K-Return's not really going to do anything. Also, again, I think they kind of morph into a bit of a slower deck in the post-board game, so I think I'm going to do this. The only card I really want to consider is Trophy, because I have, again, I don't have a ton of answers to Obosh, but... Kassan's pretty good. Not ideal if they have a relic. Yeah, they do. That's unfortunate. Well, we have Blood Moon covered at least. I think I'm actually just going to play a Hexdrinker. Yeah, I kind of want to use my mana. And I want to get a basic anyways in case they have Blood Moon. Sure. Play Goyf. Yeah, Relic is kind of a pain. Maybe I'm supposed to bring in K-Command just because of Relic. It's really quite good against me. I mean, I do have the Scourge to maybe sidestep it, but... That's bad. This is unfortunate. Maybe I'm not supposed to be playing these Goyfs and just like baiting them to crack the Relic. Maybe they think that I don't have anything else. I don't know. It's really tough. Yep. Sure. Yeah, a little late to the party. Little late to the party. I guess that was also a reason to hold the Goyfs. I'm not going to crack an end of turn, though, because I want to make sure I save this fetch land to trigger Revolt on these. Huh. Okay, that's fine. I could have cracked there so they couldn't play a land to exile the Relic, but... Alright, we're going to pass again. The nice thing about this is if I crack the bomb or the explosives and they go to exile the relic, what I can do is I can kill the pyromancer in response, and both of their pyromancers would get exiled, which is pretty nice. Which actually means that I probably should crack it in combat here. Because if I crack it in combat, they exile, I kill this, I take 2 less damage. But then they play Bone Crusher, and I don't have a Revolt trigger available. That's the issue. Alright, I'll take this. I might end up taking 2 damage for no reason here, but yeah, I couldn't prevent that anyways. That's bad. Now I can't even crack this relic. They obviously can't play either of these, but... Okay. Do they want to play a 1-drop into the explosives? I mean, they shouldn't. They should probably just play Bone Crusher Giant. Yeah, I don't really understand that. I think I got good value out of this, because now they're going to crack. I'm going to kill this. And then I have Ren to clean up these tokens. And then we can Fatal Push this. We just have to deal with these 2 Bone Crushers. I actually think we're in an okay spot. Alright, we'll respond to the fetch. Get Split Crits. So we got both Pyromancers this way, which is nice. You get to crack the other relic, that's fine. I guess we'd lose our land for a red and 6, but, you know, small price to pay. Thoughtseize. Alright, definitely just going to kill a token. They play Swiss Spear, I push the Swiss Spear, Ren goes to 1. I mean, again, we're not in a great spot here, but we're not dead. Yeah, I mean, it's possible I was supposed to wait on these glyphs, but I'm not even sure that waiting on the glyphs would have done all that much. They just do so many relics. Let's see if they even attack Ren. I mean, Ren doesn't even do a lot here. Maybe we should just leave it in play. Like, what is Ren even doing? I could have let Ren die there to trigger Revolt to kill a Bone Crusher Giant if they play 1 post-combat, but... I'm just going to use my cards and hope that I draw ways to deal with these. Like, my hand is not that great anyway, so I kind of need a little bit of help regardless. Sure. I like, why would they probably should have just played with a Bone Crusher there. I don't know why they're focused on killing this Ren. It just doesn't do anything. Like, I guess it kills an elemental token, but they put a 4/3 into play. I think they should have played Bone Crusher there. This is bad. Guess I Thoughtseize and play a 1/1. You can Flame Slash it, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, it's like... The best card that they have in this matchup is Bone Crusher Giant and Relic of Progenitus, and they drew 3 Bone Crushers and 3 Relics, and I think that's why we lost this game. But it is what it is. Unfortunate. I drew Firebolt too. Yeah, I guess we'll take a draw step. I mean, what are we even drawing to at this point is the question. They have Goyf covered. They just have everything covered. And they just have an endless stream of threats with these 3 Bone Crushers that they drew. Yeah. Unfortunate. Alright. That'll do it for that game. Yeah, a bit unfortunate. I mean, maybe this matchup isn't as bad as I think it is. I think their draw was just insane against ours. Again, 3 Bone Crushers, 3 Relics, the 2 single best cards in the matchup. So it's going to be hard to beat that whenever that happens. But, yeah, and I don't even really know that, like... Yeah, I guess I could have held off the Goyfs for a little bit longer, but the fact that they drew 3 Relics, I don't think it would have mattered. I think that we were just losing that game no matter how we sequenced our cards, so... Yeah, a bit unfortunate, but hope you enjoyed the games, and we'll be back for the 5th and final round. Alright, everyone, we are back for the 5th and final round of our Luris Hexdrinker stuff Jund League. We're currently 3-1, so we're going to go for that coveted 4-1. And we're on the play with Inquisition and the Tarmogoyf, so I will keep. Classic Jund hand. Let's see what our opponent is up to over there. Ooh, spirits. How do we want to play this? I mean, I'm just going to take Spellqueller because it's the highest value target for sure. This card might be an issue going long, but hopefully we can outpace that. I wonder if they're going to play Noble or Wanderer. I would suspect okay, they're going to play Noble. Makes sense from their perspective. So I have a decision here if I want to kill the Noble or if I just want to slam a Goyf. I mean, I use my mana so much more efficiently if I play Goyf here. Because if I play Seal and kill the Noble, I only get to play 1 spell next turn, so I think I have to play a 2-drop here. And I think I want to play Kroxa when they have less cards in their hand, just to limit their options on what to discard. Interesting they would play that instead of one of the lands we knew about. Ooh, they drew a 3-drop. Is that what this means? Okay, it's pretty good for them. We do just get to kill the Wanderer, so it's not the end of the world. And we know they have 3 lands, so this Thoughts uses a blank. Let's play Kroxa before Seal of Fire, so they don't know that their Wanderer is dying. They're just going to discard a land anyways, but... I'm going to Seal now, just to make sure I get more damage in with the Goyf. And they discard an island. So they have Howland Fountain, Moorland Haunt, which is okay. Yep, so they can make some tokens with that. Last card's Hallowed Fountain. Take 2. I imagine they're chump blocking here. They kind of have to, right? Yeah. Okay, so they chump block here. They could double block, but I think them double blocking is such a risky proposition. Another last card's Howland Fountain, so no reason to Thoughtseize. Okay. So we're going to go to 12 here. 11 after we fetch. Just get Stomping Ground. Interesting. How do we want to play this? So I can attack first They're going to make a Spirit and Chump Block, which would hypothetically tap them out, and then we could do some stuff after that. Maybe they'll just Chump Block with Noble, and then lead up Spell Queller. In any case, I think we should attack first. See what they do. Okay, this is good, because it taps them out of Spell Queller, which is nice. Oh. Interesting. Okay. That makes me want to just Abrupt Decay the Phantom now, and then just cast Aluris. The reason I want to Abrupt Decay now is because of Spell Queller. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Abrupt Decay can't be countered, so they can't Wander it. Playing the Aluris now is annoying if they draw exactly Skyclave Apparition. But that means they're not Skyclaving our Goyf, so we get to slam with the Goyf and then flash back a Kroxa, maybe. Which I think would be quite good for us. Okay, well now they don't have Skyclave mana. Yeah, this is good for us. They can't really attack with both of these, because then we just Seal Fire this and we have lethal. So I guess they just attack for 3? Is that what this is? They're in a pretty bad spot now. Okay. It's an interesting attack. Take 2. Alright, I'm going to cast this pre-combat. Do I even want to let them block with this? No, I guess I don't. Yeah, now I just attack with both. They have to Chump Block this, go to 4. Yeah, that's... They've seen enough. Alright, so Spirits we want. Explosives, Abrade... probably Kozilek's Return, although if they have 2 Lords in play, Kozilek's Return can get a little awkward. Probably just want max number of things that say kill target creature. I actually could bring in Spellbomb for Moorland Haunt, but I think that's a little too narrow. Veil of Summer doesn't stop Spell Queller, so I don't think I really want that. What do we want to cut? Clington Dust is an interesting proposition, because if they go to target a thing with Moorland Haunt, we can cling it in response, but I feel like that's probably not enough. Unearth is usually bad against white decks because their removal is exile-based. Path to Exile, Skyclave Apparition, things like that. I'm not in love with Kroxa in this matchup. I think I can go down to 1 Kroxa, and then maybe cut 2 Thoughtseize in the draw. Yeah, let's try this. I think Kolaghan's Command I might bring on the play, but I think on the draw it's too slow against Spell Queller. Alright, so let's reveal our Aluris. We have an okay hand. It is a little painful, but I think it is worth keeping. If they play Hierarch on 1, we can bolt it. Yeah. Or seal it, better yet. Let's do this. Let's just get Blood Crypt. Seal that. I think I'm going to bobble them in their upkeep. They're drawing Collected Company. That's a good one to Thoughtseize. Okay. So now we could potentially Thoughtseize them and then bolt the Hierarch. Trying to think of what land I want to play here. I guess I'll just play Peatland. They have Company and Drog-Skull Captain. Alright, well, I'll take Company. And I do want to bolt the Hierarch now in case they draw another Collected Company. I think that's worth it. I have Trophy to answer this if I really need to. It's an island. I imagine they'll probably play Captain here. Maybe they want to hold the Captain until... Ooh, okay. I don't mind that at all. I think that's actually quite good for me. Now I can just get basic Swamp, Croxa them, and then play a Hexdrinker, and then next turn I can get the Croxa back. Yeah, so it looks like they're holding the Drog-Skull Captain for a turn where they can put it into play and maybe a second one. Alright, so their last card's Captain. But now the issue is if they draw a spell... Alright, I wonder if they drew a 1-drop here. I guess I'll attack first. They're at 14. I think playing this Croxa is a little risky. I kind of want to just trophy this now. Yeah, let's actually trophy this now. I'm paying a lot of life here, but I want to make sure I have a mana to cast the Croxa. Okay. It's a good card, but I think it might be a little too late. Alright, black, black, red, red. So we have creature, instant, land, and I have artifact, enchantment, sorcery. Keeping those three. I'm doing this first because I want to see what their last card is. Supreme Phantom. So that's 4 damage. I can't attack with this because they have a 3/3 and a 1/3. Now if they draw a Lord, it's 6 damage. I'd go to 1. Okay. Looks like they did not draw a Lord. Well, I do think that matchup is quite good for the Jund side. So nice little showing of, you know, Jund deck versus tribal Aether Vial deck. Just, you know, bunch of removal spells, large creatures, kind of pretty straightforward stuff there. So yeah, got a nice little 4-1. Hope you enjoyed all of the matches. I certainly had a lot of fun doing that. We'll do a quick wrap up in just a little bit. I'll see you then. All right, everybody, we're back for a nice quick little wrap up here. So we went 4-1 in the matches. Deck felt quite good. I do really like the addition of Hexdrinker. I think it's kind of funny because we played against 2 Lava Dart decks. What I was saying yesterday is I think Hexdrinker's in a really good spot because there's a big decrease in Lava Dart decks. And then we just played against 2 Lava Dart decks, so it's hard to, you know, it's hard to say that. But I think in the challenge metagame and the winners metagame, I don't think there's as many Lava Darts as there are in the league metagame. So I do think this deck is in a quite a good spot. Big fan of Hexdrinker, especially against the Omnath decks, because if you get into a spot where you have 4 mana and you can get them tapped out, you play a Hexdrinker, make it a 4/4. They have to have exactly Teferi. And the nice thing about Hexdrinker is once you get it to level 8, it gets around their zombies, so it doesn't matter how many zombies they have. You have a 6/6 protection from everything, which I think is quite good in those matchups. The only cards that I think are... I mean, I'm not sure about this Dismember. I understand why it's here because you want an extra removal spell, and there are some spots where you want to, again, manage your own life total for Scourge, but I think I might prefer just like a second Abrupt Decay or something along those lines. It's also possible, I'm not sure I like Kroxa that much. It was okay, but the thing about Kroxa is this deck has a lot of stuff that it's doing with its graveyard. It has Tarmogoyf, Lurrus, Renin 6. So Kroxa, there's a lot of tension between the amount of cards you have in your graveyard versus things that you can do with your graveyard. So I think you might not want Kroxas and maybe just like another Renin 6 and maybe a Scavenging Ooze or something like that, just another threat. And then maybe the second Seal Fire could go. It is nice because you're a Tarmogoyf Lurrus deck, so I understand why there's two, but maybe another Decay or a Terminate or something like that, just a harder removal spell for things like Death Shadow and other problematic permanents. The sideboard, I mean, we really didn't even board that many cards in. I think the cards that stayed in our sideboard the entire time were, I mean, obviously you don't count this, but so we really only had a 6-card sideboard. We didn't bring in these cards once. I mean, obviously we just didn't play against decks that these are good against. I do think that you probably need some. You gotta figure out a way to beat the Obosh deck, because that matchup does not seem very good. I mean, obviously when you sign up with 4 Hexdrinker, you kind of resign yourself to being bad against Lava Dart. But I don't know if there's like a specific sideboard plan that you can employ that makes the matchup better. So maybe you just kind of have to chalk that one up. Not entirely sure on that. But I mean, as far as the rest of the matchups, everything else felt pretty favorable, or at least closer to, slightly above even. So yeah, I mean, I really think this deck's in a good spot right now. If you enjoy playing Jund, this would be certainly a good deck for you. It's a little bit different than classical Jund, but a little bit more aggressive. But that kind of suits my playstyle, so I definitely enjoyed that. If you enjoyed the stream, be sure to check out Mana Traders. They're a sponsor of not the stream. If you enjoyed the YouTube video, they are a sponsor of my stream. You can check out the Twitch link. I'll put that in the description below, as well as I'll also put the Mana Traders link, where you can use promo code DoomWeek for 15% off your first 3 months. So check them out. And yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed the video, and I will see you next time.